Hello and welcome to the motoring world of Four Wheels Good. On this week's programme we take a trip down south to meet a man who sells vintage and replica Ferraris, and John Wright serves up another helping of inside motors. But first we travel over to Oulton Park in Cheshire, where Vauxhall very kindly arranged for us to meet up with touring car driver John Cleland and superbike ace Carl Fogarty. John was out there testing his car for the next British Touring Car Championship season, and he was showing the bike expert how it's done in cars.
Well, we've come today to Oulton Park in Cheshire on a very cold morning. There's frost, there's even snow today as well. And Vauxhall are here at the circuit today testing out their latest Vectras. John Cleland, who's just going off behind me in the latest Vectra from taking part in the Super Touring Car Championship, he's going out onto the circuit now. Carl Fogarty is here as well, and they're both going to give the Vectras a run. They've also been doing some testing this morning for the Vectras that are taking part in the Touring Car Championship this season. And it gives us a chance to see what goes into the preparations that they have to do to get these cars up to full specifications. John, perhaps you can run us through what happened in the 1997 touring car season.
Well, basically we didn't get the results we expected. We started the season a little bit late with an old car, and with a previous year's car, a new team, new premises, everything was new, my teammate was new, and it really just didn't sort of come together. We were, to a degree, hampered with an aero package. In other words, the front spoiler and the rear wing were from the Germans designed it for the long, fast circuits in Germany. And in fact, on the British circuits, it wasn't compatible. So what that really meant was that when you tried to turn into a corner, there was no downforce on the front. It had straight line speed, but therefore it wasn't all that good through the fast corners. So it was an animal. So we really just didn't get to grips with it all year. And we had a ceremonial burning for all the aerodynamic package at the end of the season.
So what does the future hold? What does the next season involve, and how's the car progressed on from last season?
Well, basically we throw these cars away, or sell them, or do something with them. And we've been designing the new 1998 car for the last few months now. I sat in the body shell recently to get a feel for where we'd put sort of steering wheels and seats and so on. It's going to be mega. It's been designed from a blank sheet of paper. The most important thing is that we have a third scale model which we've been using for the wind tunnel testing for the aerodynamic package, which, if you ask any of the Formula One teams, the way that you win in Formula One is you have the best aerodynamic package and you have a real strong engine. And that really falls, again, it's just the same in touring car racing. We've changed the engine. We're now going to be running a Spiess engine from Germany, which had a little bit more power. And we have this new aerodynamic package. But there's heaps and heaps of parts on this car that are going to be changed. The entire suspension's changed, the brakes are changed. And we're going to have 3 Weetabix every morning and go for it.
Carl, tell us what your involvement is with Vauxhall here at Oulton Park today.
Well, basically, last year I sort of wanted to do a bit of going a car, you know, at some point last year, and one of my sponsors knew people at Vauxhall and said, you know, is there any chance of getting Carl going to a guest car at Vauxhall Vectra Challenge thing, and tried to sort something out last year, and for whatever reason I couldn't do it, and that, so that's where it all started off from, and they sort of supplied me with a Vectra. So I'm just doing some stuff for them over the winter, and hopefully have a go next year in the Vectra.
braking flat in 6th gear, then back down to 4th gear, and then hard on the brakes and down into 2nd gear for the tight 90-degree right-hander to Foster, and absolutely flat up with the gears. 5th gear, through Nicker Boots about 125 miles an hour. 6th gear up onto the Yokohama bridge. On the way to Grooves, we're doing about 140 miles an hour as we brake down from 6th to 4th gear. The double apex corner, where it carries both apexes over the rise, up to 5th gear under the bridge, and then up to 6th gear again, then the brake back straight, hard on the brakes for launch, down into 3rd gear, gently over the course, feed the power in the grid, 4th gear, 5th gear down past the pits, and then 6th gear as we approach Old Hall, then the 4th gear, about 110 miles an hour through Old Hall, and back up to 6th gear again, over the top of Cascades, which was where we came in. Very exciting little track here at Oulton Park, one of the best in the country. It's just got all sorts of corners with loads of character, road brake corners. It's a real rival circuit. And once you've got a good lap around here, you really know you've done it.
I'm back in the pit lane. And that was a lap of Oulton Park.
Can you see how effective sales are when you go out and win races or you win a championship?
Yes, because we have. It's slightly parochial to some extent in that certain spectators will follow us all around the country, so you see the same face, in all corners of the country. But on television, our championship reaches millions of people over dozens of different countries. And this Vectra is not just a Vauxhall, but it's an Opel Vectra in various other countries around the world. So what we win with here has a knock-on effect to the way the car is perceived in other markets. And it's a success, and anything that's a success sells cars.
So maybe we'll be seeing Carl in a car in the future, but more practice is required, I think. That's it for part one, but join us again after the break when we'll be meeting Dave Miller, a man with several classic Ferraris. Welcome back to part two. Now, down in a quiet part of the New Forest where the wild ponies roam, the silence has been broken by the roar of Dave Miller and the latest addition to his range. There are few cars as classy as a Ferrari, and there are even less as classy as a Ferrari from the 50s. Dave is a lover and dealer of Ferraris, and he's soon going to have to part with another friend, a hand-built replica of a 1954 SD500 Mondial. Steve Vokens went to meet him.
Picture the scene. It's 8 o'clock on Saturday night and you're sitting in your favourite comfy chair watching telly. 6 balls have suddenly changed your life. You used to have a few £100 overdraft in the bank and maybe 18 years left on the mortgage. All of a sudden that doesn't matter anymore. You've just joined the elite class of people who don't have money worries. By the following Monday morning, this newfound wealth isn't just burning a polite little hole in your pocket, your trousers are a blazing inferno. Now, it's fairly safe to assume that as you're a motoring fan, one of the first things you'd do would be like me, go out and buy a car. But with a limitless budget, what exactly would you buy? Now, I'm not a gambling man and I don't do the lottery, so the likelihood of me finding myself in that position is even less likely than the 18 million to 1 odds of the lottery. But if, say, Aunt Maud, who I'd never ever heard of, left me enormous amounts in her will, I think I know what I'd do. I'd go out and I'd buy a car. For every day, I'd buy a Mercedes, but for those special fun days, I'd buy a Ferrari. I'm talking now to Dave Miller, whose company Forza 288 are Ferrari specialists. Dave, this looks like a real lottery winner's car. Tell me more about it.
Well, it's a recreation of the original 1954 Mondial 500 ST, and as you can see, somebody has painstakingly recreated what is probably the nearest recreation you'll get, so authentically done. And basically it's a car for fun.
It certainly is a fabulous car. What sort of speed is it capable of?
It's capable of about 130 miles an hour, which without a screen it's pretty horrendous, and your face tends to get pulled back if you reach anything over 80 or 90, although I've never done that on any of the British roads.
Obviously. Flies in the teeth stuff. Eh?
Absolutely, Steve.
Excellent. Dave, you're not just a Ferrari specialist, you're a real enthusiast, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. You have to be to actually sell the cars and be ever involved in them. I've been now selling them for nearly 20 years, and every car's special, and every car's a delight to drive. They're all different, they're all hand-built, and you just feel that part of Enzo Ferrari's in every one.
There's a real passion. It's not just the red, is it?
Oh no, no. In fact, we've had them in most colours that's available from the factory: Giallo, fly yellow, silver, blue. We actually live, eat, sleep and breathe Ferraris at home, and they're just a way of life.
So do you have non-road cars as well as the obvious sports
We have
cars?
the occasional sports racing car that comes in, but the majority of them are road cars. The actual sports racing cars as such were built in very, very small numbers and sold basically to racing enthusiasts who took them on the track. And it's a slightly different market, although one that I'm very interested in.
Cars over the years, especially the last 20 years, have changed out of all recognition, and this is true of Ferraris as well. Do they still have the same degree of passion as, say, a classic Ferrari like this one?
Yes, I think even when you go to the 550s and the 355s, they've kept up with tradition not only in the Ferrari spirit, but they've also kept up with the actual design, build quality, and they're now a car that really is unique in every sense of the way, and they've kept ahead always. They've always been that one step ahead of anything else that you would actually consider buying in that market. They are the ultimate car.
So with the hypothetical lottery winner coming to you with this large bundle of cash, would you advise him against buying certain Ferraris because they're too wild to drive, or are they all easy to drive, or what?
Steve, it depends on the person. I think if a very young person who's driving has inexperience, I would suggest that he didn't start on a Ferrari of a 12-cylinder car to start with. Maybe start with something very much smaller like a Dino or probably a GT4 to get the feel of driving a Ferrari, and then maybe go into the slightly bigger stuff, bigger engine stuff, to gain his experience of driving a car.
What was your first Ferrari then?
Well, to be honest with you, I started with Alfa Romeos, as did Enzo Ferrari. He drove for Alfa Romeo before he set up the Ferrari company himself, and I started with Alfa Romeos, and I think they're a wonderful little car. I then ventured, my first Ferrari was a 308 GT4, and that was it, the passion that got me, and I couldn't ever buy any other car or have any other car to drive for myself or to sell.
Did you ever meet the great Enzo?
No, unfortunately I didn't.
Well, I'm sorry to say that during the making of this item, I haven't received any communications at all from Aunt Maud's solicitors. Therefore, she either doesn't exist or she hasn't left me any money. Either ways, the end result is the same.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Dave.
What a wonderful machine, and if I ever had enough money, I'll be paying Dave a visit myself. Well, I think it's time to get the car mended, so let's wing our way over to Mr. Fix-It John Wright and his garage in Inside Motors.
Ever since we've been doing this feature for Inside Motors, I keep getting asked the same question. How do I save the most amount of money for the least amount of time? The answer is very simple. Fit your own exhausts. Today we're going to fit an exhaust to a Peugeot 309 diesel. Come on, I'll show you the parts. These are the bits that we're going to use. We've got a centre pipe, the back box, and most important, the fitting kit. What tools am I going to use? Well, for this one, a 13mm spanner, 10mm spanner. Oh, I might just need a little bit of rust penetrant, and if I'm very unlucky, I'll need to use a hacksaw to hack it off. But that should be it. Right, let's go and get the car, get it in here, jack it up, and I'll see you later. Right. Now we're here, we'll just get this back box off, which is a couple of 13mm there. Oh, that's been a bit of a pain. Now, we'll just have to go and get some squirt and another spanner to hold that on. Just get rid of this back box. Squirt on that. Give a squirt on that. Let's move that out of the way so we can all see. Right. This is the damned awful fiddly bit. I'll get the old one off. I say it's been fitted with the wrong fitting kit as this exhaust and left a huge amount of thread. See if I can get my hand in there. Yeah. That's it. That's got it. Right, just gonna two hands in here. Yeah, that's lovely. Oh, saved. The nut's coming off. Right, that's most of the grovelly job done. I mean, it was made worse because it's been fitted with the wrong fitting kit. Those are far too long for this car. But we'll get rid of those. And then come out and get it pulled off at the back end. Right, let's get out of this. Right, there we are. That's the grovelly bit of the job done. Let's go to the back end and start doing the easy bit. Right, we'll just release the back end, and they're great, these Peugeots, because they just fall away once you pull the little rubbers off. Put a bit of squirt on there, and the one on the other side. These rubbers should just pull off, and the exhaust comes with it. It's getting a bit awkward this side. Let's get it. One off. Let's move that out of the way. Two off. That's it. And the exhaust falls off in your hand. Ready to put the new one on. I think we'll confine this one to the bin. Right, this is the fitting kit that we're going to use. Two new rubbers for the back end. Clamp and the associated bolts for the back end, a new fibre seal for the front, and the thing that caused us the problem getting it off, the new fitting kit for the front end, which is a bolt and a spring and a washer. It fits through the manifold, through the spring like that, and then bolts on the other end. As you can see, that's the one we took off, and that's the one that's going to be put back on again. There's a heck of a difference between the two. Right, we'll just feed this pipe under the car, like that. Right, and then I'll meet it at the front end with a fitting kit, and we'll just get it fitted on. Right, let's just get rid of the old fibre washer if I can see it. Can't, I'm going to have to do it right. Feel. We've got the new washer in, we've fitted most of the fitting kit and the exhaust ready to go up. What I'm going to do is come out, support the back end on the jack, and then it will be ready just to slot up in the right place. Okay, so I'm going to pop out, you come and see me at the back end and we'll pop it on the jack. Okay, here's the jack, pop it under, jack it up a little bit. Right, that should be enough. Really just to pop the back end of the exhaust on into about the right position for it, which is just about there, I think. Right, we'll go and fit the front end, bolt that up, and then we'll put the back box on and it'll all be finished. Right, just do the back end. So we'll just let the jack down. Boom. Get that out of the way. Right, let's go and get this back box. Right, here's the back box. We'll just put these rubbers into place on the cart. It's one of them and the second. Now we'll fit the exhaust box to the rubbers, one at a time, nice and neatly. This one there, and that. Whoopsie daisy. That's one in, and then, yeah, that's it, take the one in. It's in the right place. Pipe up. Exhaust, just a bit back. Move that back. Right, and then the clamps up here. One. All the bolts and nuts. Right, that's that all tightened up. The job's taken us about an hour. Okay, I'm filthy dirty, but I tell you what, I just saved myself about 40 quid and rather have the dirt that I can wash off. That's all there is for today on Inside Motors. I'm off to have a bath. I'm feeling a bit on the dirty side.
Thank you very much, John. Inside Motors will be back again next week. Also on next week's show, we take a trip to Switzerland to see how Goodyear test their winter tyres, and Stephen Vokens will be test driving the fantastic Quadriporte from Maserati. Take care, see you then, bye-bye.